Imagine living a life full of promise, joy, and respect in a tight-knit community, only for that life to be ripped away in a brutal, unsolved murder. What would you do if the murder happened in a home you thought was safe, by someone you never expected? Emily Lawson was a beloved local teacher, adored by her students and respected by her peers, yet she was found brutally murdered in her own home. The case seems straightforward, but the truth behind her death is far darker than anyone could have imagined. Join us as we dive deep into the chilling details of Emily Lawson's case and other gripping true crime stories. If you're intrigued by the twists and turns of unsolved murders and mysterious cases, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's uncover the dark truths together as we proceed with more spine-chilling investigations. Share your thoughts in the comments and let us know what other true crime cases you'd like to see explored. Don't miss out on the dark truths waiting to be uncovered. Emily Lawson was everything a small town could ask for: charming, warm-hearted, and dedicated. As a middle school teacher in the quiet town of Ridgewood, she touched the lives of many children and parents. Emily was known for her generosity, always staying after class to help students with their homework, volunteering at town events, and attending PTA meetings. By all accounts, her life was idyllic, with a caring boyfriend, a close-knit group of friends, and a supportive family. But Emily's picture-perfect life came to a screeching halt when she was found murdered in her home. Police arrived to find her body lying in the living room, her head bloodied and battered, as if someone had struck her with a heavy object. The door was locked from the inside, and no sign of forced entry was found. There were no signs of sexual assault, and nothing in the house appeared to be stolen. It seemed like a crime of passion, but with no obvious suspect, the case quickly grew cold. The murder of Emily Lawson presented several challenges for the local police. The case was bizarre, with no signs of a forced break-in and no apparent reason why someone would want to kill her. Emily had no known enemies, and all her relationships appeared to be normal. Her family, friends, and even her boyfriend John spoke highly of her. Emily had been living alone for several months after her parents moved to another state, but she had stayed in close contact with her family. John had been with her the night before the murder, but his alibi was airtight. There were no signs of foul play between the couple, no arguments, no incidents to suggest that their relationship was anything other than stable. The primary question was, who would want to hurt Emily, and why? At first, investigators turned to the people closest to Emily, starting with her boyfriend John. He was the last person to have seen her alive, and naturally, he became a prime suspect. But John's alibi seemed solid. He had gone out of town for a weekend trip with his best friend Mark and had texted Emily just before leaving. He had also called her once to check in while away, confirming their plans for the upcoming week. John's phone records confirmed he had been in a completely different city during the time Emily's murder occurred. His perfect alibi meant he could not have been the killer. Then the police turned their attention to Emily's co-workers and friends, asking whether anyone had noticed strange behavior or any signs of trouble in her life. All signs pointed to nothing unusual. Her colleagues remembered her as a dedicated teacher, a good listener, and a dependable friend. In fact, it seemed like Emily had everything going for her. Her friends described her as a loving and loyal companion who always went above and beyond for the people she cared about. However, a breakthrough came when the police started digging into Emily's past. They discovered that, months before her death, Emily had begun receiving strange, anonymous letters. The letters were full of anger and bitterness, accusing Emily of things she didn't understand. The police speculated that perhaps someone from her past, someone she hadn't fully cut ties with, was behind the murder. But despite extensive searches and the examination of her social media and personal life, no obvious suspect emerged. Just when the case seemed to be at a standstill, investigators able to find one crucial lead, an unexpected source of new information. A month before her death, Emily had contacted the police about a series of unsettling phone calls she had received. The calls were anonymous, and the voice on the other end was distorted, but Emily had been scared. She mentioned that she thought she recognized the voice, but she wasn't sure. She had been hesitant to provide more details at the time, saying she didn't want to make a mountain out of a molehill. However, further investigation revealed something chilling. Emily's stalker was someone she knew all too well. The voice on the phone belonged to her ex-husband, Frank, a man she had divorced 2 years earlier after a tumultuous marriage. Frank had been a controlling and abusive partner, and Emily had left him after a violent argument that led to a restraining order. But Frank's obsession with her hadn't ended with the divorce. He had been quietly watching her from afar, his resentment brewing. Despite his own perfect alibi, the same alibi as John's, Frank's motives and growing anger became clear. The letters that Emily received, the strange phone calls, and the unsettling feeling she had been experiencing were all clues that pointed to him. Investigators re-examined the timeline of Emily's murder and discovered that Frank had been in town the night she died. Though Frank's alibi seemed airtight at first, new surveillance footage and witness testimony showed him in the area where Emily lived just hours before her death. It was no longer just a perfect alibi. It was a carefully constructed facade designed to hide the truth. The investigation into Emily Lawson's murder revealed a dark truth. Frank had meticulously planned his wife's murder, using his knowledge of the law and the trust he had in his alibi to avoid suspicion. His obsession with Emily, combined with his resentment from their failed marriage, had ultimately led to his violent outburst. He had used his position as an ex-husband to gain access to her life and had carefully orchestrated his actions to ensure he wasn't caught. In the end, it wasn't the perfect alibi that protected Frank. It was his manipulation and the belief that no one would ever suspect someone with such a seemingly solid defense. He thought he had outsmarted the system, but the unraveling of his deceit brought him to justice. This case serves as a chilling reminder of how manipulation, obsession, and the desire for control can lead to deadly consequences. It also highlights the importance of trusting instincts and the need for law enforcement to dig deeper, even when the surface-level evidence seems clear. What do you think of this case? Do you believe Frank could have been stopped before it was too late? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you're interested in more true crime stories, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notifications on new videos. Let us know if there's a specific case you'd like to see us cover next.